In today's sports luxury coupe market, we're really spoilt for choice. If you wanted something with crisp handling, you'd go for a BMW M4. If you wanted something with huge amounts of power, maybe the AMG C63S is for you. But if you wanted the sure-footed handling of all-wheel drive, maybe the Audi RS5 is the way to go. So the Germans really do have this side of the market cornered. So why on earth would anyone buy one of these? Well, today we're going to take a closer look at the Lexus RCF and try and find out why.
Check it.
In 1989, Lexus introduced itself to the world as the luxury arm to Toyota with the rollout of the LS400. This car had a development timeframe of 6 years and $1 billion, and there was no doubt that Lexus had the German powerhouses well within their sights. In fact, in the first year, Lexus managed to erode sales from Mercedes and BMW by 29% and 19% respectively. Fast forward through the next 20 years of the Lexus timeline and you'll find it peppered with dull and uninspiring vehicles, often being criticised as pimped out Camrys. Lexus really was becoming an old man brand. But in 2007, Lexus debuted not only the ISF, but also the LFA prototype. Now, either the Skunksworks team at Lexus had run off with the boss's credit card, or Lexus was finding its performance mojo. When the LFA finally rolled out of the shed at the Motomachi plant, it took the performance car sector by storm, if not only for the unadulterated sound produced by that 4.8 litre V10 engine. Ah, what a symphony, and to this day is still revered as one of the best sounding engines in the world. And that brings us neatly to the latest offerings from the Lexus Fuji team. Welcome then to the Lexus RCF. Right then, let's go over the numbers. Under the bonnet is a 5-litre V8 engine producing 467 horsepower and 530 newton meters of torque. And that's enough to propel this behemoth from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. And I use the word behemoth on purpose because as impressive as all those numbers are and should be making the Germans sweat, the number that the RCF is most famous for is its hulking 1,860 kilogram curb weight. That is a staggering 300 kilos heavier than the equivalent BMW M4. On a paper comparison then, things aren't stacking up well for the RCF. But it's not all bad. Because in a world knee-deep in turbo and supercharged technology, there's something pure and raw about a naturally aspirated V8. And then there's the sound. Oh yes. Oh, that's very naughty. Alright, before we get too carried away, I think it's time we get this soundtrack out onto the open road. With the car in its normal drive mode, I have to say that things are pretty sedate in here. There's a slight rumble from the V8 engine, but nothing overly dramatic. The 8-speed transmission passes through each gear smoothly and eagerly, and it gathers speed with such elegant ease. You might say it's very Lexus indeed. Set the climate control just the way you want it. Let your rump be cooled by the vented seats. Put your favourite chill out tracks on the Mark Levinson stereo. I mean, I'd quite happily be in this thing for hours. And that's all well and good, but this Lexus is wearing an F badge, which stands for Fuji, which is a racetrack. And at the moment I don't feel very racy. There is, however, a button on the center console with the words Sport Plus on it. Oh my god! It's fast. It's very fast. Oh, and just listen to that sound. It's like a barrage of cannon fire that's been technically remastered in high definition. Whoa! In Sports Plus mode, the throttle sharpens up, the steering tightens up, and the gearbox engages something called GAI shift, which is basically using G meters and magic, I think, to kind of determine what gear that you need. It's brilliant. And I have to say, as I'm pushing through these back roads, the handling is excellent. It's not BMW excellent, but for a car with a significant weight disadvantage, I'm pleasantly surprised. This is due in part to the clever torque vectoring differential, which constantly adjusts which rear wheel gets more power to ensure the best grip and dynamics through the corners. And if you want to get more hands-on, there's a set of paddle shifters, so you can select your own gears. The transmission's torque converters lock up from gears 2 through to 8. Shifts happen within 0.2 of a second. With a lovely rev match on the downshifts. Oh, yes. In my opinion, it does fall a bit short of its dual clutch counterparts, especially in manual mode, but it's definitely no less engaging for the driver. The RCF has often been described as a Japanese muscle car, and mechanically it ticks all the right boxes. But let's talk about the styling. Lexus will tell you the guiding principle for the design of the RCF is functional beauty. Every crease, fold and flow of the bodywork is designed to assist cooling or aerodynamics in some form. From the front fenders, which allow hot air to escape from the engine and the brakes down the side of the car, to the active rear wing, which deploys automatically at 80 kilometers an hour or at the push of a button, even down to these little fins on the taillights and the base of the A-pillar, which help straight line stability and reduce vehicle wobble. That's right. But for me, one of my favorite design aspects is at the front of the car. The sensually curved LED headlights are uniquely concave and surround that enormous and controversial spindle grille, which is beautifully textured. And although it's not to everyone's taste, I certainly respect the bravery of the design team to deliver something unique and different. And I just love it. With its origins in the luxury car sector, Lexus has always been well known for its beautiful interiors, and the RCF is of course no exception. But with such beautifully aggressive exterior styling, the interior needed to be equally as special, and this is what Lexus came up with. Inside the RCF, you are greeted by layers of luxurious materials, from leather and Alcantara to aluminium and carbon fibre. Everything you touch feels beautifully appointed and solidly put together. Take these seats for example. They're not just super comfortable and supportive, but just take a look at the detail in the stitching and the embossing. Arguably one of the best seats in the market at the moment. The dash has a premium feel to it, and at your fingertips you'll find controls for heated and cooled seats, drive modes, climate control and media controls. You can access all the in-car features from this trackpad in the centre here, which is not as intuitive as the rotary dial options that the Germans offer. The main screen shows everything from sat-nav information, digital radio and MP3 tracks, climate control settings, and a host of other functions. These can also be prompted by the voice recognition system, which is 100% accurate. No, I'm sorry, I've dialed the wrong number.
Well, you've interrupted my lunch.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, I was just trying to demonstrate my car's voice recognition.
Well, it can't be very good then, can it?
Yeah, look, it's a Lexus RCF.
My Hyundai'd be better than that piece of
Right, thank you. Despite these minor quibbles, the interior is truly a wonderful place to be. Take the LFA inspired instrument cluster for example, which not only shows you all the information you need to know, but it also changes depending on which drive mode you're in. And then there are a myriad of gimmicky options which show you things like G-force, lap timers, and even what position your rear wing is in. It all ties together so beautifully. Just being in this car is an event. So the RCF brings to the table a wonderfully powerful and smooth engine, robust styling, and an exquisite interior, which to me are the makings of an excellent Grand Tourer. But this is where Lexus gets into trouble. You see, the main competition for the RCF is the BMW M4, and although the exterior styling might be a little bit mainstream and the interior somewhat bland, there's simply no getting around the brilliant way they drive and handle. And let's not forget, they're faster. What makes things worse is that the RCF is not only let down by its extraordinary weight, but also its old school transmission, which is perfect for a GT car, but it lacks the crispness of the DCT option on the M4. The BMW M4 outsells the RCF 3-1 because on paper it's simply a better car. And when you roll into your local car meet, you can be safe in the knowledge that everyone knows this. But there is something soulful about the RCF which the competition is missing. You won't find it printed in a specs table in a car yard brochure, and if you tried to describe it at a cars and coffee meet, you might be labelled a little strange. What Lexus have created here is a car that appeals to the heart and not the head. In fact, it appealed to me so much that I went out and bought one. And you know what? I haven't looked back since. If you enjoyed the video, click the logo on the top left to subscribe to the channel and stay up to date with upcoming motoring content. Make sure to also give the video a nice big thumbs up. You can also check out our website at www.frax77.com, as well as all your favourite social media platforms.